What's poppin'? It's Cory. This is the Geekism Podcast.
So, well, did you actually hit record this time?
Yeah, I actually hit record this time.
People are like, what is going on? So generally, if you listen to the show, you know every time Cory does an intro, there's something that happens. So this was the third time we've tried to start recording. Just this one episode.
Last time I forgot to hit record. I didn't let go of the button.
God.
I just kept going.
This is amazing. So, this week's show, it's not a whole lot of stuff happening. Like,
This
at least not that I've
show.
seen. So, or poppin', I guess, since it's Cory's show now.
Get it poppin', bruh. Yeah, there hasn't really been much as far as the news or like new releases. It's kind of like a little bit of a lull, you know?
Yeah, it's kind of, at this point, I'm just sort of waiting for Destiny to come out, I think.
Is that the next big release?
For me, I mean, well, the second season of Telltale Batman starts next week, I think. But I
ain't even
still
fucking
haven't
with that.
finished the first one, so I think what I want to do is go back. I'm just going to start from the beginning and replay through the whole thing, and then by the time whenever I finish that, I'll get into where the second one's at.
I didn't even finish the first one. I was like, I think I like this, and then more of it played through, and then I'm like, I don't really like this.
I don't know, I hear people tell me it's really good, and like I liked what I played, even like the stuff that was different, because I felt like they were making it their own and having their own interpretation of these characters, which I liked. It's just I think I had like one like tech issue with one of the episodes, like it wouldn't play for me or something like that, or wouldn't download or some shit, and I was like, all right, and then I just never went back to like figure it out.
At this point, I might just watch a Let's Play video.
I'll record one. And you can watch mine.
You could record one and I'll narrate it.
Oh my god. We should just stream it and fucking
jeez.
make the choices ourselves.
That could be pretty awful.
That would be amazing.
It could be pretty good, though, too. I'm looking at this release date calendar. I haven't really seen much going on there. I am curious about this Lawbreakers game that Cliffy B from the Gears stuff is putting out. But everything I hear about is it's pretty okay.
I hear some people say it's really good, but the thing is, like, you have to like that type of shooter. Like, it's super fast-paced, I guess. Which, I
Probably
mean, I
like
don't,
Quake.
like, I don't know. I mean, I might look into some reviews or something. Like, but, like, good for him. Like, he's a super cool guy. Like, we heard him speak
the
at
best.
PAX East that one time. And just kind of like following him online and shit. Like he knows what he's doing, obviously. So I'm sure that there's going to be an audience for that game somewhere.
Yeah. Other than that, there's like Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, which if that was maybe coming to the Switch, I would consider picking it up, but it's not.
That's how I feel about most games nowadays.
Sonic Mania, that looks like it could
Sonic
be
Mania
fun.
looks awesome. But the thing for me is, like, I really want Sonic Mania so bad, but it just screams one of those games like Tej will pay for and then never play.
What was the one that's coming out? It's not Sonic Mania. It's the other one where you can make your own character.
Sonic Forces, is that what it's called?
That sounds about right. That one, I'm curious to see the things that people make.
No,
Because some
that
Sonic
game
the
looks
Hedgehog
like
fan
shit.
fiction is getting brought to life.
That thing looks like shit. Sonic Mania looks awesome.
Yeah. And we got Uncharted Lost Legacy, which,
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
I mean, really the only true hero of this month is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
I don't know, that Uncharted thing looks awesome. But again,
That
it's one
Life
of
is
those
Strange sequel comes out at the end of the month, too.
Life is Strange, another episodic game that like I started, never finished. Not because it was bad or anything, I just like fell out of it and never went back. So I didn't like, I have no idea what is going on with it.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking here, too. Do you really think that Cuphead is coming out next in fucking September? Do you think it's really going to happen?
I mean, I hope so. I think so. I think it's, if I had to guess, I think this game's been done for a while.
Yeah, it
And they
seems like it's
sort
been
of were
long
like,
enough.
all right, we need to... I think it's been done for not like a super long time, but a decent amount of time, so they could line up like promotion, because they will need to make sure that this thing hits well, because it's been talked about and shown for so long.
Yeah, no shit. And what is it? It's not a It's kind of an Xbox exclusive. I mean, it's going to PC, but
Yeah, I think it's like only console exclusive or whatever, right? Or maybe I don't know. I don't even know if that's true. Who knows? But it's gonna be on. It'll be on Xbox for a while. I'm assuming before PlayStation, if it goes to PlayStation.
if it ever goes.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it's just at this point, I'm just playing a dick load of Splatoon. And
Which you managed to play the Splatfest. I did not.
I did. I
chose a side, and obviously it turned out to be the losing side.
hell motherfucking yeah. We talked about it on this show. Y'all were on the wrong side of history choosing ice cream over cake. You fucked up once, but you made out clean on that one like bandits. Then you were on the wrong side of history again, picking ketchup over mayonnaise. And people might be listening and be like, ugh, but why would you pick mayonnaise? You love it that much? No. But you got to think logically about this. Mayonnaise has way more utility than ketchup. That's just a fact. Excuse me. So I chose the condiment that was the most versatile. And luckily enough, cooler heads prevailed.
I couldn't go with it. I just had to follow my heart and stick with the ketchup.
The thing is, they would have won me if they were like ketchup versus like Sweet Baby Ray's or something. I would have been like,
we all know this. Hey man, the sauce is the boss. It's literally on the bottle.
That's how you know it's true.
You vote against Sweet Baby Ray's. You vote against your life.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't know how exactly Splatfest work, but I'm pretty sure legally now mayonnaise is better than ketchup. Because it won in all 3 regions, too. It was
what
a
happened
sweep.
now?
So the way they break it up is, like, Japan is its own region, United States and somewhere else, I can't remember, are their own region, and then, like, the UK is their own region. So they all had the same Splatfest, which I guess they don't always have the same one. Like I guess sometimes Japan is a different. Like in the test one that they had before the game came out, Japan's was different. Like theirs was pop versus rock music, while ours was ice cream versus cake. We were waging the real war over here. You know what I mean? But so I guess this time it was the same everywhere, and Japan had theirs first. I think theirs was Friday. U.S. was Saturday, and then Europe's was Sunday. So Japan results came in, and mayo won, but I think a lot of people anticipated because I guess it's way more popular over there than ketchup is.
Oh my god, they love mayo in Japan.
So then the U.S. won, and I think everyone thought ketchup was just going to trounce them, and it did win the popular vote as we saw. But then in the other 2 categories, mayo won, like the team battle and the solo battles.
Well, they're thinking that this thing there's some weird server kind of fuckery going on because a lot of people were saying the matches that they played were mostly ketchup versus ketchup.
Yeah, but I've seen people say that, but I played a few matches that were mayo versus mayo, and you got to remember that just because you're playing against ketchup people and you're on team ketchup, like you can't get a loss that way. Like the amount of matches ketchup played versus mayo is the same for one team to the other. Like I'm on team mayonnaise, I'm not playing more games against ketchup people than ketchup people are playing against mayonnaise. Like it doesn't make sense that way. Because for every fight where there's one team and one team, it counts for both. I think people just can't take it.
I didn't even show up.
They chose the wrong side.
I do really enjoy all the drawings that I'm seeing in the lobby.
I'll tell you right now.
There's some salty ones.
That's one of my favorite aspects about this game is like the drawings in the plaza. But I got a few issues with this. One, you can rate these drawings fresh, but there's no way to find out how many people have rated it, etc. 2, I have no way to know like where these drawings are coming from. Like all I've seen are like super famous people, or like ones that just go super viral, take off. Like I think why can't it just populate with people I know? You know what I mean?
But I haven't seen a single person I know's drawing in there at all.
Yeah, like I've done a couple. And I know other people that have done a couple that I'm friends with on the Switch, and I haven't seen any of them. And who knows if people have seen mine, probably not. But my last point I want to make about these drawings is, and again, if you're into this, fine, but it's not my thing, I don't understand it. What is with all the furry stuff that came out of nowhere in here?
Wait, did you just say I'm into this?
No, I'm talking in generalities. Like if people listen, if that's what you're into, that's fine. As long as you're not hurting anybody, that's been my motto forever. As long as you don't hurt anyone else, do whatever you want. But it just came out of nowhere. Like I've played Splatoon literally every day since it launched, and just randomly one day all of a sudden I saw like one furry drawing, and I was like, that's a bit weird. And then I started seeing more and more and more. And the thing for me is, like, I saw some people on Reddit, they're like, I'm reporting everyone I see because it's butt. And I'm like, all right, I mean, dial it back a little bit, right? Like, come on. But I did see one that I thought about it, and I was like, you know what, I have to report this one. And not because I'm like a party pooper piece of shit, but my thought is, yes, there are a ton of adults that play this game, but there are also a ton of kids that play this game just because the type of game it is, and it's on a Nintendo platform. It's reality. And this drawing was, and some of these furries, like, they're a little bit weird, but and kind of suggestive, but the kids aren't going to get it. But this one was like a wolf man, or I don't know, a furry drawing, right? Excuse me.
Yif.
Yeah. It was a furry drawing, like a guy looking mad happy with like a hand in the air, right? And like had drips on his snout, I guess, and like coming out of his mouth, and he was like, mayo's delicious, like winky face, and I'm like, come on. I'm like, you are not talking about mayonnaise, sir. And that's the one I saw. Like, I was in the plaza, and I had walked past it, so it like popped up real quick, and I was like, wait, hold on. So I had to turn around, find this one, and I was like, this, no. Now you've gone too far. So I had to report that one. Whether it does anything, probably not.
Did you take a picture of it?
No, I wish I had.
The real injustice is that you didn't take a picture or a screenshot.
I know. I should have. But yes, that was... These furry things, man, come out of nowhere. And then the thing is, it turned into like a war between these drawings, which were like, you had furry drawings and you had anti-furry drawings. It's insane.
Can't we just have peace in the lobby?
My thing is, I'm very curious what the next Splatfest is going to be.
It's a good question.
Furries versus non-furries. It's teed up for you, Nintendo. Make the call.
I mean, you're trying to appeal to a wider audience. There you go.
Because my whole thing is, I'm just waiting for, like, the ones we've had so far, debates, but they haven't truly galvanized the nation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're towing that line. Like, what could they put out that would really be like, if you choose that other side, we're done? Like, what if they put out a Batman versus Superman one? Here's my thing. One, won't happen, right? Or probably won't happen. I guess there's a slim chance, but probably not. I honestly think anyone that I know that picks Superman, we're done. We're done here.
This show would be over.
Like, if somehow Cory got a brain injury and was like, hell yeah, I'm Team Superman Splatfest, I'd be like, that's it. That's the end of the show. Podcast over. Forever.
Another good one would be, it'd be very dividing, maybe Mario versus Luigi. You keep it in-house.
I mean, that's an easy choice for me. Luigi, every day. You know who I bet you would pick Mario? These fucking single kids who grew up and could always be player one. They don't know the player two struggles. Well, you get the janky controller, kind of one of the 8 buttons doesn't work so great.
After this talk of the furries in the lobby, I had to fire it up just to see.
Are they still there? Oh my! Ketchup is for nerds. So you can't. So this is an audio podcast, obviously. But first off, actually, can you screenshot that?
Hell yeah!
And send it to me because when I do the video version for YouTube, I'll cut it in.
Oh my god!
Timestamp this at it's 13:43. We'll say. So he just showed me a picture of a furry that just says ketchup is for nerds. But the thing is, but that right there, all right, sure, furry is a bit weird, but it's not like subjective or it's not whatever. It's innocent drawing, essentially.
This one just says furries rule.
This Mayo one. The best one I've seen, it's going all over Reddit and everything, was some dude.
There's a Squidbilly?
Or a lady. Squidbilly is great. But somebody had done a drawing with a tiny little dog at the bottom, and it just said, I don't know what a furry is, but I really like all these dog pictures. With just a little dog at the bottom.
Oh.
But yeah. If you're in Splatoon, get in there. I've actually been streaming it a little bit. And I'm not like pro streamer. I just do it like for fun.
You got it ran through your computer?
What do you mean? Yeah, I have it like from the Switch to like a little capture card thing right into my computer.
No, I forgot you got that.
And it's been fun, you know. People have been hanging out. We just like to shooting the shit, playing Splatoon. Like, I'm not great at the game. Like, I'm okay. But I just like to, you know, talk with whoever comes by. And I joined up with a couple, like Chris. Me and Chris were playing one night. Chris from the show, shout out. I've played with a couple other of my buddies. My buddy Jason, a couple nights. A couple other people just randomly, like, because I like it. I mean, I wish we could always be on the same team, but I'll look every time I go, and I'm like, oh, I have people online. Let me see who it is, and I'll just join on them sometimes and play a few games and then dip out.
Yeah.
I'd still like to get a night where me, you, and Chris are all in there.
One of these days.
You know, because that'd be fun. Or even if we can get enough people and fill a lobby and just run private games or something.
Well, I've got at least 4.
Who's 4?
4 would be my friend Kyle.
Shout out Kyle. I don't know him.
He's down to Splat.
Well, listen, if you ain't down to Splat, then you gotta fucking... I was gonna say you got a GAT, right? But I don't think people say GAT for, like, go.
No.
Can we start that? If you ain't down to Splat, then you got a GAT. That doesn't... No,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
No, it doesn't work.
We tried. Boys.
What else we got here? We saw that
Oh.
picture of Josh Brolin as Cable.
Yes, and I have a little news thing, just a super aside after this, that I just remembered. So yeah, they did put out, the thing is, I saw this first Cable, the picture where he's like, shh, you know what I mean, doing the little shush thing.
Uh-huh.
I saw that picture first, like, early this morning, and I was like, that looks cool, but that's not real. Like, I took it as another one of those, like, Boss Logic paintings, you know what I mean, where, like, they do.
That's what I thought it was at first, too. I was like,
And then
whatever.
I saw the second picture, like, put out, like, in a bunch of tweets, and, like, this is what he looks like, and I was like, well, I think he looks cool. Like, it definitely looks cool. It's not in my brain what I assumed he would look like. Like, it
Works
looks
for
like
me.
Cable.
I wasn't
I
wasn't
guess.
expecting like a Rob Liefeld drawn Cable where he's like giant muscles.
No, not at all. But, like, the suit even, right, looks like it's kind of all blackish, right? Like, my Cable is very bright blue suit.
Yeah, but recently they've been
I don't know. I have no
darkening
shit
him
about
up, and like if you look at his arm, it looks more robotic and
Like
less just
cybernetic
like covered
and less-
in metal.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, too, is the arm. Is like, I just remember Cable from, like, the 90s. So his arm was literally just, like, sheets of metal, kind of like Colossus body.
Yeah,
But the thing is, like, I do think it looks cool. And like I said to Chris in our chat thing earlier, it looks cool, but I'm very interested. I got to see it in motion. You know what I mean? Like, in practical use, like, for a movie. Like, when the first trailer comes out, and if he's in there, then I'll have a better idea of, like, all right, I'm on board with. Not that I'm not on board with it now, but, like, it'll be a lot easier for me to be like, all right, I can see how this is going to work.
did you happen to zoom in on the gun that he's holding in the one shot and look at it?
No, I saw he had a teddy bear on the side, though, and I was like, is this a Cable thing and I don't understand it, or...
I didn't quite understand the teddy bear thing. Maybe it's like a reference to Hope Summers.
Maybe my only concern here is, and again, maybe things have changed since I, like, have known Cable. Like, I read a little bit of the Deadpool Cable series, you know, not a lot, but I always viewed Cable in that relationship as the straight man. Like, Deadpool is, like, zany, wacky, and Cable is funny in the sense that he's not funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's kind of just like a wet blanket.
My
to
hope
Deadpool's,
is...
like antics.
Yeah, my hope is in this movie, they're not just like, hey, make him wacky and stuff too. Because I'm be like, well, that's not the character, right? Unless it is in the comics now, I don't know.
No, not really. He's still kind of like the serious, like, I don't know, military-esque kind of dude. At least from my memory. And even, like, I'm thinking about it now. I imagine the reason they make his arm look more, like, robotic and less, like, sheet metal-y kind of is to kind of not confuse the average person with thinking, like, oh, maybe he's related to Colossus.
Oh, that could make sense. I forgot. Oh, yeah, because I forgot he was in the first movie. I wonder how they're going to explain him being there.
I think he's just going to show up and they're just going to either do, like, a quick montage.
Not even that. Then again, like, the way they've established sort of this Deadpool, in quotes, universe, right? Like, from just the way the first movie kind of handled stuff, I wouldn't even be mad if they just, like, didn't even explain it. Like, he just rips out of a time portal or some bullshit, right? Like, right in the beginning.
I mean, he shows up in that 90s X-Men cartoon. He's in the very first episode, and he just kind of shows up.
Yeah, like, just give me
and you're
that.
like,
Just
what
show
the
up.
fuck is this? No, looking at that gun, though, whoever the prop maker was probably had, like, a hell of a time making that thing. Just, like, probably, I don't know, just laughing to themselves because, like, it's so big. It's got, like, a wooden stock on it, a giant-ass scope. There's, like, a grenade launcher. There's, like, this crazy big magazine area. There's, like, 2 other barrels above the grenade launcher. Like,
Listen,
it
you
looks
gotta go for it.
absolutely ridiculous.
When is that
and
movie
it's amazing.
supposed to be out?
I don't think it's until next year in, like, February.
Oh, so, I mean, it's not super far off.
No, it's not, like, crazy far off, but, you know, far enough.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it
the
looked
teddy
cool.
bear thing, I don't know what that is, but judging from what some of these things in these comment sections are saying, like, people, like I said, are thinking maybe it has something to do with Hope Summers.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see your first trailer. I mean, we got a little tease during Logan with the little, like, scene beforehand with Deadpool, but I want more.
Yeah. What was this other thing you were talking about?
So I just remembered, because I think it happened, like, later in the day that I saw it, that Netflix has purchased, I don't know if they purchased the whole brand or just the rights to make shows and shit, but of Millar World, which is, like, Mark Millar stuff, like Wanted, he wrote Reborn, that I've talked about on here a bunch. You know, all his own, like, comics.
Mm-hmm.
Which, some really good stuff. Like, if you haven't read a lot of his stuff, like, he's got some really cool shit. So I'm interested in that, to make, like, exclusive, like, movies and TV shows only on Netflix for this. So I just thought that was interesting. Like, it surprised me because I never thought about it, you know what I mean? Because, like, I know his comics are awesome and they sell really well. But I never thought, like, oh, he would sign, like, a Netflix deal, right? Like, it didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, at the same time, like, they're probably just going to try to soak up any, like, superhero-related, like, comic booky stuff they can, since it seems to be doing so well for them.
That's true. It's funny because, like, I was talking to somebody else, and they were like, yeah, it's kind of like when they announced that they're going to do the Invincible movie. And I was like, even then, like, Invincible to me is way more on the forefront, since it's so much of a... And again, this is not said to, like, discredit Invincible, because I love that book, and it definitely is not just, like, run-of-the-mill superhero, but to an extent, it's run-of-the-mill superhero, right? Like, it's a costume dude with superpowers doing stuff. Like, you can sell that easy. Whereas some of these Millar books, you're like, oh, it's a dude who has the brains and all the tech and stuff of Batman, but instead of being a good guy, he's a villain. And he goes around the world challenging, like, the best detectives in different cities and kills them.
What series is that?
Nemesis. It's fucking awesome. You haven't read it.
Oh my god, I have to check that out.
And he's just got so many... I mean, obviously people know, like, Kick-Ass and stuff, but there's
those did all right.
Yeah. I mean, I never saw the second movie. I never read the second series either, though. I read the first one, and I was like, oh, it's cool. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I didn't expect it. It kind of came out of nowhere on me.
Yeah, that is kind of a random thing to see, like, pop up in the news. Are you reading anything, like, going on right now? That's, like, current?
I'm reading Extremity, which I think I mentioned last week. We didn't really get into it too much. By Daniel Warren Johnson. I think I got the name right. Which, it's so weird, because, like, if I had to describe it, it's like a Mad Max in space, kinda.
Okay.
Like, so, I don't know how many issues it's gonna be, like, because I thought I saw something on Twitter where it's not, like, an ongoing, like, it does have an end, but I don't know, I haven't looked into it exactly to see, like, when that is. I think there's 6 issues out. I think the 6th issue, like, just came out, like, last week or something. But basically, and I don't remember the characters' names, so I'm not gonna be able to say those, but basically it starts out where, like, these people are fighting, and you're like, and they go into it. They're fighting because there's, like, these different clans, essentially, like, in this area where they live, and one clan went in to, like, destroy another one, ended up, like, and everyone everyone in this clan is born, and when you're born, you go at a certain age, you go in and see like, I don't remember what he calls it. It's like the old wise lady of the village or whatever. You know what I mean? And like they sort of give you a name, which is kind of like what you're gonna do for a living. And like one of the main characters is a girl, and she was like an artist, right? Like she drew people and shit. And the lady's like, you're gonna be an observer or whatever. You know what I mean? And like drawing, right? But when these people attack, they're the crazy ass fucking enemies, right? Like they're like human people, but they have like weird armor and shit. And one of them had like on one of their hands had like a giant like metal set of jaws. So like they tied her down and like chomped her drawing hand off. So now she just runs with like a blade attachment and shit. Like it's fucking rad. And like her dad is like the head of like their tribe of people. So the whole story is like their tribe going to attack the other ones to take them all out, because like her mom and his wife, she got killed in this whole thing. And he wears like, it's kind of like, you remember the main bad guy from the newest Mad Max movie, how that like mask he had?
Yeah,
it's kind of like that, but instead of like the hoses, it's like these 4 horns, like 2 on each side, that kind of one goes out and up and one goes out and down. If my memory is correct, it looks fucking awesome. And this dude's like one of my favorite artists in comics for a while. Like he's super good. And there's one of the sickest characters in here is like a cyborg guy. Like they find him on one of these planets and like reboot him, and no one really knows what's going on. And like this like army shows up and he just fucking annihilates everybody, because like I guess he was just built to like murder. But like he doesn't know, like it's fucking awesome. If you are looking for just a super awesome, like fun book to get into and check out, like go check out Extremity. It is fucking awesome. That also, another book that's kind of like an off the wall one, but I've been following for years at this point, is Headlopper by Andrew McLean. Started on Kickstarter, I believe. Like he kickstarted like the first issue, then the second issue, I think, and then it got picked up by Image, I think it is. But it doesn't come out monthly. It comes out every 3 months, and they're like oversized issues.
That's pretty cool.
But it's about this like barbarian dude named Norgal, I think I said that right, and the Blue Witch Agatha, who is like a decapitated head that he carries around with him. And like it still talks and can do shit.
Weird.
And it reminds me of like if Conan was Hellboy. Right? Like this is like the most simplified way I could like dwindle it down. But the art is super clean. He's got such an amazing style. And it's another great book. Like if you're looking for something weird and awesome, pick it up. You won't go wrong.
Nice. Have you been reading Detective Comics at all? Or
God,
did you
no.
just read the Batman one?
I'm not caught up with any of that. Like I just did. I read the Metal Preludes or whatever that we talked about on here. And outside of those, I don't think I've read anything other than the Miles Morales Spider-Man from like the big 2 companies. Not because I don't want to, it's just haven't had time to go through all that shit. I got like a year and a half worth of Injustice issues to read. God. Like I finally went on and like paused a bunch of my like auto subscription things, because I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Like I need to catch up first.
Yeah, for sure.
I got like 6 months worth of Archie and Jughead to read. Nuts. So what about you? Are you reading Detective Comics?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's taking a little trip back to the 90s, though.
Ooh, weird.
So there's like this thing, the story arc going on right now involves like the Order of Saint Dumas.
Isn't that Azrael's people?
That's Azrael people. And like at this point in the story, like Azrael is like a good guy. He's not like crazy, whatever. He's kind of like trying to change what people think of that order and like correct all the wrongs that they've done. Well, those people are still doing some bad shit.
And he's
Where-
like, what the fuck? I'm trying to have people think we're good.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but somehow this like robot version of Azrael gets unleashed. That's basically like they're like, hey, we took the human element out of what you're supposed to do, so it can efficiently like do the job. Well, in the process of that thing, like it's come to like the home front for all the Bat family people, and it's like wrecked house.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
At this point, too, like Azrael is knocked out, and since that thing's like robot, it can kind of hack into things, and it's managed to take control of like 10 of the Batwing suits.
And what are those?
The Batwing is the kind of robo-looking like Batman. He's like, I can't think of his first name, but I want to say he's related to Lucius Fox.
Is that the one that was from, what did they call it, Batman Inc. or whatever, way back?
He's one of those dudes.
Okay.
I
I think I know, in my brain, I think I can see him, but I just never, I didn't know that that's what he was called.
What is his real name? Luke Fox is his real name. He's like super smart, kind of like tech guy. Like I would say he's almost like an Iron Man-esque Bat family character. So his stuff is all like robot, like, armored suit powered, which, when things have AI and whatnot, like they could be hacked. So at one point, like there's this part, they're like kind of the Bat family hang out in the Belfry that like Red Robin designed.
A shout out.
Who's
Red
currently
Robin.
missing.
The best Robin.
So they're hanging out in there, and like at this point, there's like this weird mystical like troll-looking guy thing hanging out with Clayface in there, and they're trying to like hold it down while Batman and Batwoman and Cassandra Cain, Batgirl, are away because she goes by
isn't
Orphan
Clayface
now.
a good guy right now?
He's a good guy right now, and it's pretty awesome to see. They're like in there, and he's just like, "Hey, Batman, there's like 10 of these Batwing things outside. Like that's probably a good thing, right?" And they're like, no."
They're like, no,
And
we're about to get fucked up.
Yeah, that robot thing shows up and is like, no. But near the end of the issue, like, there's a point where Azrael, like, freaks out, like, the Order of Saint Dumas, like, kind of takes over for a minute, like, refreshes his, like, programming, if you will.
Because he's, like, brainwashed or whatever, right? Is that
Yeah, he's been completely brainwashed. And, like, the thing he wears is called the Suit of Sorrows. And I still don't quite understand how it works, but it kind of has, like, some sort of weird AI in it. Well, the old Batwing
suit.
Yeah, the Batwing has been messing with it, and it's like, well, I think I've kind of created this other suit that works just like that, only, it's basically, it's not going to make him a crazy person. We just need to get him in there and see if it works. And the suit they show is very reminiscent of, like, the 90s Azrael suit with, like, the big, like, metal wings and, like, the armor and,
well,
like, the
are we talking
claws
about
and stuff.
The 90s Azrael Batman suit, or the 90s just Azrael, like, red and yellow?
The Azrael Batman suit is what I should say.
Ugh, gross.
It looks kind of cool. Like, it looks like they took a lot of the bulk away from it and made it a little more sleek.
Probably for the best. That suit was... I remember those books as a kid.
And I was like... drew that suit? Was it Jim Lee?
No. I have it in my brain. I think Joe Quesada had something to do with it at one point. I don't know if he's the one who originally designed it.
No, I think that's who it is.
Ugh. I mean, the thing is, it's like looking at it.
Denny O'Neil,
like
Grant Morrison, and Joe Quesada.
Yeah, looking at it now, I'm like, I definitely was like, yeah, I was not wrong about it not being good, but I can see why that is definitely a suit from the 90s.
Oh, for sure. It's so obnoxious. It's got like tubes and stuff coming out of it, and like crazy armor. The wings on it look huge. Like, it's insane. So they're doing like a newer version of that. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Like once they get him in there. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting.
It's kind of cool.
I mean, I'm glad that they're
and, like, redo some of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're sort of trying to reincorporate that, right? So it's not like they're trying to fully write off like, oh, this shit happened, but it didn't really happen.
And I kind of like the fact that Cassandra Cain isn't just like Batgirl. Like they're like, oh, this is Orphan.
Is that her name?
Yeah, that's her new code name.
It's a bit. I don't know. I feel about that name.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's still like Barbara Gordon, Batgirl running around. So like, who needs all that confusion?
No, I get it. Why she's not called Batgirl, but Orphan. Don't know that I'm jumping on board with that name.
There's a lot of story behind that one.
Was her dad? Did he end up dying?
I think so.
I think we've talked about it on here before.
It's been a minute. I have to go back and read that again.
Because I don't know much. I just know him from the one storyline from, was it? It was when Brubaker and Rucka were writing Batman, but they were kind of like they were going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was Scott McDaniel, I think, was the artist. I just remember I had so many. So in my bedroom, I literally went in. So I went into my local comic shop one day, and this was when I finally, like, I don't know if you have the same thing, but I had that moment in my life where I finally, like, just really got into comics. Like, I always had liked them. But, like, this one moment, I was like, no, now I'm into comics.
I really jumped on board, like, kind of late. Like, when they started that whole Wolverine Goes to Hell storyline, that's when I really started, like, buying stuff and reading a lot more heavily.
So, for me, I was, like, just going into high school. And, like, I'd always been really into art and especially comics and all this stuff, but I was like, you know what? I was like, I love Batman. I've loved Batman, like, my whole life. Like, I want to check out, like, what's going on in Batman comics right now. So I went to my local comic shop and I was like, oh, and it was like, and, you know, I talked to the guy who I've known for years at this point. And he was like, yeah, it's, you know, this is the run right now. There's like 12 issues out or whatever already. And there's no sign of them slowing down. Like, they wrote a lot, this team. And I remember, so I went in, I bought all those 12 and I just kept buying it. And what I did with them was I bagged and boarded them all, but I'm like a dumb kid, right? Like, I'm not storing them like safe. Bagged and boarded them all, but flipped it so like the flap on the bag was like, so the opening was facing the wall, you know what I mean? So it had a little bit of coverage. And then I put tacks through the top, and I literally, not like the book itself, you know what I mean, but like the bag part. And my whole bedroom, every wall eventually was covered, and I just lined all these issues up on the wall.
Jeez.
Like, it looked awesome for a kid. Right? But thinking back of it now, I'm like, that's kind of insane. So I went through that whole run, and I had all those on the wall, and I ended, like, the wall project with the original issues of Hush, because that's what it ran into. I believe, if my memory's right.
All right.
But yeah, that was a little aside for that. I don't even know how we got there. But... but yeah, oh no, yeah, because that was, they did the Bruce Wayne murderer and fugitive storyline, and it was those guys, I believe, and that's where Cassandra Cain's dad was in that. Mm-hmm. That's how we got there.
Just bringing it back around.
You got it. Listen, you can go on the tangent, but you need to be able to connect it. It's got to come back. So yeah, all right, so she's named Orphan now, kicking about. Clayface good guy, Azrael, crazy kind of not, and they got to put him in this new suit.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of Detective Comics, have you read anything else?
I picked up that first issue of that Darth Maul book that came out.
I didn't know that there was a Darth Maul book coming out.
Yeah, it came out a little bit ago. There might be a second issue already.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it was good. I think it's going to need some time to, like, go somewhere.
Now, have you read any of the Darth Vader comic?
I read pretty far into it, and then I haven't caught up.
So it wasn't. What? It's not. You first issues comparison. Darth Vader better.
Yes,
because that comic was fucking rad.
Yeah, he just shows up and starts wrecking house like this. Like, he beats some ass, but at the same time, you're just like, this is all right. This is gonna go somewhere, but it's gonna take a minute to get there. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, I didn't know they were making a comic about him.
You can't let that guy
then again
forever.
It's kind of a character I feel like that's always been, like, people have been like, yeah, he's so cool, but realistically, like, in the movie, like, he didn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah, I didn't really get to do a whole bunch in that movie, and I think they kind of regret killing him off like that.
Yeah. I mean, Disney's probably like, fucking George Lucas, god damn it.
Yeah. So now they're like, all right, we need to flex this, do some origin stories, take it back.
But the thing is,
as much as possible.
Isn't the whole thing though that he in quotes died in that movie, but really he didn't, because in like the other shows and shit, like he's been back, but he had like spider legs for a little bit, like robot spider legs, I think.
Or there's something like that.
I don't know. I don't follow it a lot, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, I could be way wrong.
I'm pretty sure I could ask Bo and he would know.
Shout out Bo, friend of the show.
Or I could Wikipedia it, but it'd be more entertaining to have him tell me.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, outside of those, I haven't really... I kind of am always on the hunt for, like, weird comics, like, stuff that I think just looks cool. I mean, people know, listen to the show, like, if the art looks cool, I'll give anything a shot. But just the 2 books that I had mentioned, like, the art's super good, and the books themselves are really good. And I'm getting, outside of that, not a whole lot, because I'm getting close to my, like, yearly Hellboy reread. So I'm kind of, like, hesitant to get into something new.
You really need to be watching that Dragon Ball Super.
I tried, man, and those movies weren't on the service that you have. So I had to watch the episode. I watched, like, 2, and I was like, I can't do this, man. Just like I tried to watch that... Fuck, what was that show? Everybody was on about it, and I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And I don't even think I finished the first episode. The Hero Academy, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, I started that.
I don't even think I made it through the first episode. And again, it just, the thing for me is, like, for this type of stuff, I need to be hooked on the premise, like, instantly. And the thing that's tough about anime is that doesn't happen often in those shows. Like, it takes a little while for it to get going. A lot of the time, in my experience anyways. I'm sure there's fucking ones that don't, but in my experience, they take a little while to kind of get going. So I'm like, it's such a hard thing for me to get into. Like, I need to be hooked right away. Like, what I really like, and I've been kind of watching them here and there on Netflix, because I remember watching the like short that came out years ago at this point, was the Little Witch Academia on Netflix. Now, here's my thing with this, though, is they have the first 2, like, sort of like pseudo episode shorts on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess they made a series. I haven't checked out the series yet, but I heard that some people not super happy with it. And I don't know if it's because of quality thing or if the story got altered or not. I don't know. I'm going to do some research on that. But I really like the 2 shorts because of that premise hooked me right in the beginning. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe I gotta give some of these other animes people are all about a shot, but it's tough when I go from, like, when I was really into it and, like, Bebop and then Champloo came out, like, those things fucking hooked me right away, and I was like, this is awesome.
I would say some of them, like, they'll either get you right away or, like, you gotta give them a chance. But at the same time, there's some that you look at, like, the episode count of something that's been out for a long time, and people are like, you should watch it, it's really good, and you look at that episode count, and you're just like, this is daunting, no thank you.
This is another thing, like, books. Like, people try and recommend, like, books to me all the time, because I don't read as much as I used to, but I do a lot of audiobooks. But for me, like, I don't like series that much. Like, I like a solid standalone book, or, like, if it's, like a few book series, alright, I can do that. But, like, some people give me these, like, fantasy books, and there's, like, yeah, there's, like, 11 books. I'm like, fuck that.
You're more one and done.
Like, even for me, like, I love The Witcher, right? But even then, I haven't even gone through all those books. Like, I have, like, 4, I think. And not because they're bad, I'm just like, alright, I need to, like, it's going to be a while before I get into the next ones. Because I can only be in, you know, a certain, like, world or whatever for so long. And then I'm like, alright, I need to get out of here for now. But shout out audiobooks, man. Because if people haven't fucked with that, I like to put them on while I'm working.
I usually listen to them when I'm driving.
Same too. Yeah, because, like, I don't listen to... It's so weird, because when I was young, I was like, I cannot be in a car unless there is music on. Now, it's so rare. I'm either listening to a podcast or an audiobook, and, like, the off chance I'll have music on. But it's so rare. I find myself
listening to more podcasts than music in the car.
Yeah,
I listen by myself at least.
I have. We should do an episode where we talk about other podcasts that we like. Which is so stupid.
I only listen to this one.
You only listen to this only one? It's dedicated. I don't even listen to this one. I can't do it. Every time I'm editing like the video version, I always like check it to make sure like the audio's like fine. But I as soon as like we start talking, I can't hear my own voice. I hate it. And the thing is,
Yeah,
I
don't
guess
like
it's like a
my
real
own
thing.
either.
Like I guess it's a real thing for like you can look it up. But so every time it starts, like I listen just enough, so I'm like, all right, audio starts on time, ends on time, fine, I'm out of here.
I'm like, all right, this all lines up, good to go.
Which you would think is like bad because every time I have to make like the images and shit, I'm like, fuck, what do we talk about? Like I could just listen to it and no, can't do it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what's going on lately. This is a very chill like hangout episode.
Yeah.
Put it on while you crack a Roni or something. You know what I mean?
A Roni? What is that?
I think that's what people call Coronas.
I did not know that.
You never heard
So
that?
I don't drink Coronas or anything
I don't
at all.
listen. I don't drink anything, but I've heard it, and I'm like, all right, it's a fun. It's like
Some
a quick side story.
Ronies.
Quick side story before we get out of here. I'm a big fan of people who have like made their own names for things that are already established with a name, like Roni for Corona. But the best one I ever heard was this dude came in way back when I was working retail to buy cigarettes, right? And he wanted a pack of Parliament cigarettes. And he called them, and this is exactly how the scenario went down. He walked up to the counter, and I was like, how you doing? What can I get for you? And he was like, yeah, let me get a pack of P-Funks.
What?
And I swear to God, so I took a second, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And he was like, Parliament's P-Funks. And I was like, that's amazing.
The Parliament Funkadelic.
So I've never forgot that. And this was over 10 years ago at this point.
P-Funks.
P-Funks. And then another quick aside, the same guy also said that the studies that showed cigarettes are harmful for you was bought and paid for, and it's not real research. So that's a whole other thing. This guy was obviously crazy.
Amazing.
But I still
think my
latched
favorite
on
thing
to the P-Funks.
My favorite thing I've seen recently to describe another thing has been the term boneless couch when talking about a beanbag chair.
Wait, it's a boneless couch?
Yeah.
I've never heard that, but that's amazing.
I've seen a few memes for it. It's pretty funny.
I can't keep up with the internet, man. All these young kids.
It's pretty hard.
It's real hard.
There's a lot going on out there.
Know Your Meme is like bookmarked for me because I'm like, what are these kids on about?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I'm done.
I'm done here too. We'll be back next week, maybe with more news.
More
Something
news
exciting happens.
and stuff. We'll see you
go
later.
play more Bayonetta.
Oh my god.
I almost said Bayonetta 2, but I don't have that.
Well, we'll talk about that in a
Oh,
future
boy.
date.
All right.
We'll see you later.
Later.